about a little Cutlass update, shall we? I'm doing a lot to this car lately, off camera. It's a lot of miscellaneous small stuff that's not really worth busting the camera out for, and the way I've been rocketing around this car, in and out of it 45 times, I wouldn't really be able to film appropriately anyway. So, let me gather my thoughts, and I'll explain to you what I've gotten done. If you've been watching this car, you know it runs now, and it runs good. And the motor's happy. It's got a good bass tune on it. We'll do a better tune once it's out on the road and running. Put an exhaust on it back in October, I think, September, maybe. Full exhaust. Which this car's never had a full exhaust on it since I've had it. I've always had axle dumps. I used a Flowmaster kit for the whole piping kit was from Flowmaster. It's from the headers back. I did not use Flowmaster mufflers because they sound like dookie on big engines. Flowmaster sound really good on something like up to a 5-liter or a 4.6 8-cylinder Mustang or a 305 Camaro, but once you start putting more power through them, they start to sound like garbage. So I used Cherry Bomb Vortex mufflers. We got our new Hurst shifter. Now I want to talk about this shifter for a minute. New shifter from Hurst, $500. Out of the box, doesn't work correctly. We had to take this shifter apart and we had to add shims to it. There's a guy, I'll link his information down below. He's got a video on YouTube and explained exactly what's wrong with these shifters, and he makes the shims and sells them. Since me and Chris added the shims to this thing, it works like it's supposed to. The problem we were having is when you go from second and you ram it over into third, there, second, third. You couldn't do that before. What was happening was it was jamming coming out of second to third, and it would fall back into second. The shifter would get locked in neutral and you couldn't move it in any position, and you had to crawl into the car and you had to pull the lever back out of second into neutral on the transmission. And that was happening probably 50% of the time you would try and shift it from second to third. It would just bind up. And the problem is, the guy explains in his video, the newer shifter bodies that they use are slightly wider than the original older ones from the 70s. And in making the body wider, you need to add extra shims, and they're only putting the same amount of shims in they did in the old days with the skinnier bodies. Now that that's straightened out, what else we got going on? I just put a new rear deck in this thing, made out of nice imitation rabbit fur. Ooh. Put my speakers back in today, put the back seat in today, still gotta put the lower half in. The way my shifter rods are next to my transmission, I can't run my speedometer cable to it. There's just no room. The rods literally eclipse the hole that the cable screws onto. So the remedy for that was I've got, wherever I put it. Okay, so the remedy for not having a speedometer cable hooked up to the transmission was I pulled it out of the, I pulled it into the car, and here it is right here. There's what's supposed to thread into the transmission. Well, I pulled that up from the floor pan into the car, and I'm going to keep it in here tucked under the dash. And Jeg sells this electric speedometer box. Jeg. They got this kit, which is pricey. This box right here, you can see where the speedometer cable will thread on right there. And what it does, you hit me again, I'll punch you in the face. Watch this. See, I punch him in the face, but then I get a big old grease print on my fucking hand. So anyway, this box runs off a GPS. They give you a little antenna that's here in the bag, you can put wherever on the car. And then you wire this thing up, and then you wire the cable right into it. And my speedometer will be the most accurate one on the road until I go through a tunnel. Then it'll just go to 0. I'm also in the process of trying to retrofit these bucket seats into the car. I picked these up back in November, I think, off my buddy Mark in Philly. They're out of a 68 GTO. Now, it's funny enough, they have headrests for a 68. What I didn't know until I started digging into the computer, you could buy headrests in 68. Option code 571 cost $52 extra back then, which translates to $400 extra today, which is a no-brainer as to why nobody bought headrests in 68. Why would you? An extra $400 for what? Something none of my other cars have? Whoa. But yeah, it's kind of cool. 68 seats with a headrest. Alright, so before we can put the seats in the car, I had to make new holes like I was talking. So I got the holes put in the floor. Seats are ready to bolt in. But before I can do that, I got to lay this carpet back in here. Now, with the new 4-speed hump that's hiding under here and the shifter, it's not fitting really good right here on the transmission tunnel, and it's pulled pretty tight up into the corners where it's supposed to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna iron it down to the floor. Now, check out this iron. This thing is cool. It's gotta be from like the 60s, maybe 70s. This thing is ancient. It's my mom's. Get some lighting on there. Dude, that thing is ancient. Jetstream. Ooh. So I'm gonna crawl in there with the iron. I'm gonna start patting this thing down to the floor, and hopefully it'll take a new shape and form around that 4-speed hump. All right, so as you just seen, the seats were on the floor. Well, guess where they are now? They're now in the car, and man, do they look good in there. I never thought I'd ever have a set of bucket seats, like real A-body bucket seats in a car, other than the GTO we used to have. And I'm pretty happy, especially the way the material looks. The material matches the rear seats, kind of, and the material matches the door panels. I'm stoked. Today I'm filming is Monday, the end of April, whatever day it is. I think it's the 29th. Friday, I got those seats in the car. And then last night, Sunday, the car hit the road. It didn't go far because we just kind of ran it around locally just to feel it out and see how the car is going to perform and all that. And it's fun. It's fun to drive, and I have to take it really easy right now because I got that brand new clutch in there, and you don't want to glaze those, so you got to like do your first 500 miles easy driving. However, I did kind of get into second gear a little bit last night on the Pike. Just kept pushing my foot deeper and deeper down into the gas pedal while I was in second. Before I knew it, this thing was taking off like a spaceship. I got it to the floor eventually, and I think I shifted out probably around 4,200 to 4,500, somewhere around there. I didn't even wind it up all the way, and I was already rolling way faster than I should have been. So that was the extent of me having fun with the car. I didn't get a chance to film all that because I had 85 people over here, and we were all wrenching on this thing, and it was just chaotic. So now, today, I'm going to take it over to Chris's house. We're going to play around with the timing, make sure it's still where we set it, and see if we can advance it up a little bit, or retard it, depending on where it is. So, I'll take you along for that ride, and you'll definitely get a full feature episode of me ripping this thing around. Just let me get some miles on it first, and then we'll make a really, really fun episode. Alright, so here we are, warming the car up. It's going to take a while. It won't stay running on its own until it hits about 150. And it doesn't run perfect until it hits about 180. And then it sits at like 190. So, we're going to hit the road, we're going to head over to Chris's house. We're going to play with some things. Alright, so we're on the road. Got to take it super easy for 500 miles apparently. Because you got to seat this clutch so you don't glaze it, which is really boring, and I really want to beat the shit out of this thing, and I can't. So we're doing a little road test right now, working out some bugs. We still don't have the hood on the car yet for that reason, and that's pretty much it. Here, go through some gears. The shifter working how it should for the most part. Every once in a while it jams going to third gear. You go pull it back to neutral and then go to second and go back to third. So you might have to do some investigation on that, but it hasn't been a nuisance yet. But look around, this is what it is. It's fun, it's loud. Yeah. I'd say just keep rolling for a while, just filming stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else. Start talking to it again.
It's running good.
Oh yeah, the motor's starting to loosen up because I had it idled at like 800 and it's been slowly working its way up to 1100. So I lowered it back down, and so I guess the new parts are wearing in. I guess tight motor's starting to loosen up. I'm gonna go see Johnny with his 68 Cutlass. Johnny's got the red 68 Cutlass. He's been nagging me for like 8 years. Not really, but he's been nagging me. When are you gonna get that Olds on the road? So he texted me the other day. He's like, that thing on the road yet? I said, as a matter of fact, it is. So that's where we're going right now. You kind of have to pedal this thing out of the hole because of the cam's got such a chop to it. What it needs is it needs a stall converter if it was an automatic. So at low speeds, you're trying to pull out, it starts chugging and carrying on, and it's only got 308s in the back. So I may put a 323 in it that we have laying around. I may not, I don't know yet. But it almost feels like a close ratio, how hard you have to pedal it to get moving. And the other thing that sucks is you can't really leave the clutch out in a parking lot in first gear, or else it just chugs through the line. So you kind of got to give yourself some speed and then push the clutch in and coast around. And I'm trying to get used to working this clutch because it does not grab right off the floor like the Mustang. And I don't like that. Yeah, getting used to the clutch.
Shoot some scenery. They paved this?
I guess so.
Oh yeah, this thing was a mess, dude. I don't know, we were so good at fucking roads up in this state. We'll pave it nice and then we'll come out and dig the shit up to put a freaking water main in.
Yeah, that's what they do. They'll wait 85 years to pave, and when they finally do pave this shit, 2 months later, they'll dig it up to do water pipes.
Yep.
Go, any day now.
And then they screw it all up and make it bumpy and shitty and freaking horrible. I don't know how far down they went though. Tom says they went the whole way down, but
This thing feels good.
it does feel good.
I haven't been able to get into it at all, like fully yet, but even putting it around, it feels good. And I do love the engine decel I get out of this thing in third gear. I hate using brakes.
Did you notice a difference with the sway bar in the back?
I haven't really thought about it to notice it.
I was just curious.
I'm so paranoid about this thing blowing up.
It ain't gonna blow up.
But it feels tight. Well, coming around the exit to go to your house, where everybody goes slow.
Yeah.
I was taking out at like 55 today coming over. And the car didn't feel squirrely or like it was gonna lose itself.
Yeah.
It's tight. It's definitely not like a Skylark.
Just gotta get some turning radius on it.
Well, this is, yeah. I gotta get some turning radius out of this, but the steering box in this car is a lot closer of a ratio than the Skylark, which is nice.
Yeah, I drove this thing the other night and it works really good. Feels decent. You know, obviously there's fine tuning to do yet, but get it out and get it running. You know?
I need to check the balance in the front wheels. On the highway, the steering wheel shakes a little bit.
Does it?
Yeah. Fresh wheels and fresh tires, but...
Does this turn off when it goes black?
No, it's still recording.
Okay.
This fucking guy keeps sleeping at the goddamn green lights.
Alright, because he's old.
Really? Because he's got a blacked out license plate like a fucking kid would do.
Yeah, you got the semi up in front of you.
Even the semi's rolling.
Man, these seats are nice, dude.
Yeah.
They are comfortable.
I just wish I had my armrest because that's how I balance my steering.
Yeah. Well, at least you got the wheel to hold on to.
Yeah.
I don't really have much of anything to hold on to. I'm just kind of flopping around over here. I know how everybody feels in my car.
The other thing that sucks about the ratio on the car is when you want to be in fourth gear, you really can't be sometimes. You have to put it in third or else it just starts bugging. And like Chris said, if I put the 323s in it, I could probably get to fourth gear earlier.
Yeah, anything below 1700 RPM and it's done for. It just doesn't want to. That's like your minimum limit of RPMs to keep it in gear to do something with. 1700's like the sweet spot. If you go below 1700, that's the end of it. So you got to keep it revved up. So if you had a little bit more gear in it, like the 323s, you probably could stay in second, you know, third, or instead of being in second, which isn't a big deal, but I mean, it's not like the car's revving itself to pieces.
We get to go past the police department with no hood. Do I have a stop sign? No, I don't.
No, you don't have a stop sign. Hey, it's Deaf Troop.
The car runs good at like, it's running at like 190 right now, degrees, 40 pounds of oil pressure. Now, before the day's over, I might have 100 miles on this thing.
Did you drive it around today?
No, just to your house, but I had it out yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to Steelton, and I went from Steelton to, through Harrisburg, and then up through Lemoyne. We're at City Island with it.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, security guard and an Explorer came following us. Dude, we got out of the car and he was like, that thing is sick. He's like, you ain't got no hood. I said, yeah, I'll put it on. He's like, don't. That thing looks like it's out of like a post-apocalyptic movie or something. I was like, I don't want to put the hood on, but I'm going to have to. He's like, oh. He was all over it.
Damn. Yeah, Mercury sitting there. I saw that. I spied that the other night when we were coming over to Mike's. No, and we loaded it down pretty good. Out on the highway the other night, we loaded her down pretty good. I think we just need to leave the timing where it's at for right now.
I think it's happy. It's in a safe zone.
Yeah.
I'd rather have it in a safe zone all the time.
No, it pulls good. I mean, it's not like it's doesn't have any power. The curb seems pretty decent in it, so. Woo. Is your gas cap still leaking?
No, I got a new one.
Oh.
You smell fuel?
Yeah.
I think the secondary's leaking a little bit. The back of the intake's wet on your side.
Is it?
I saw that when we had the car jacked up on an angle to fucking adjust the clutch.
What the hell? Where's that leaking from?
I don't know. Even right now you can feel it bucking a little bit. Not crazy, but
Yeah, but you're almost you're right at that sweet spot of where it doesn't like to be.
yeah. It's like 1700 right now.
Yeah, sweet 1700 is where it starts to have a fit. That's where it gets all pissy pants. I don't want to run.
I almost want to go to third right now, even though I don't. And we're doing 40 miles an hour.
Citron dealership.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He used to sell Citrons.
Weird place to have a dealer.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere. They call this Space Highway because everybody used to come out here and top their cars out because of the gentle curves.
Yeah, like plutonium Nyborg space.
This sort of blew up Jamie's Buick.
Yeah.
110 miles an hour, and that was the end of her. Nucka, 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 nucka.
You had to have people wrecking cars hard out here then.
Not really, because there's nothing out here.
What the fuck is that? Something feels weird.
Wow, what's up?
I almost feel like I lost a rag joint.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Let's get the Johnnies. I could just be fucking hallucinating, but Mustang.
Guys used to drag race out here. I don't know where they did it at. But there was a lot less houses out here back then.
Probably right here.
You rarely ever see, well, you never used to see cops out here. But I don't know, you can feel the wheels turning.
I know he's coming up here soon.
Yeah, start slowing down. Because it's just after the bridge here. A little bit. It's right before the intersection where the little grocery store's at.
There, it's up the gas station.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's not really bad for it, is it?
I don't know. I don't usually like to load them up down like that. I usually try to keep them revved. That's just me.
I worry about like motor mounts and like just fucking general things twisting through the drivetrain. Like I don't want to be in first right now.
Yeah. It's like your dad when he drives a Firebird and at 30 miles an hour in fourth gear and it's like, dude, no.
That's a stock cam though.
I know, but it still fucks and carries on a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a stock cam and he's making it